So, a very good evening to your good selves. And before I go any further, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Do me the honour. So, roads have become rivers as floodwaters sweep away cars in Spain, trapping the masses as all trains to and from the country's biggest cities are cancelled. Torrential rain unleashed travel chaos with dramatic footage showing locals and tourists in Catalonia trudging across the roads which have been engulfed by water thanks to Storm Alice. Look, we've always had storms, no matter where, we've always had storms. You can call them what you like, but we've always had storms. So the weather has ground public transport to a halt with trains travelling through? How about with trains travelling through the Mediterranean corridor from Barcelona and Valencia, suspended until further notice? Think about this. Look at the costs involved, the damage to, obviously, property, vehicles, so many other things, damage to products, shops, you name it. We've seen enough of it in certain parts of the UK, but it still ties into the same thing. The drains and the waterways that we used to take an awful lot more care and respect for have been given over more and more by the day to nature. And I mean, can you even begin to grasp the costs involved in whole areas underwater for so many reasons? The cost in vehicles, the lost business, the damage to property, an endless list. But behind the scenes, as the top comment, and I would argue for good reason, points out, was this is what happens when you remove 300 plus dams. Spain is the biggest dam remover in Europe. These floods are a direct result of this government's policy for the past 5 years, not climate change. And they're absolutely right. That's what it is. Type even anything similar. Spain is the biggest dam remover. And you've got story after story after story. Yeah. And apparently something to be celebrated. Even this year, June 2025, Spain is tearing down Europe's biggest dam. Think about this. Europe's biggest dam for nature's sake. That's the net result of that nonsense. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when you look at that bigger picture and the rollout of Agenda 21 and the occult elite, look, no matter what shit happens, just say whole countries are underwater. The occult elite are well catered for. They've thought of everything, truly. But this is about, when they say rewelding, it's about this new Eden. And between ongoing eugenics and various other fuckery, they plan for an awful lot less of us. An awful lot less of us. Whatever misery it costs to you in the process, they're not giving a fuck. They're celebrating it. But yeah. Record-breaking year for dam removals, Europe 2022. This is the removals of dams in Europe. This is the World Economic Forum. The removals of dams in Europe is reviving rivers and boosting biodiversity. Here's how. Seriously. And this is how they're, in no small way, especially through the education system, convincing the young and malleable of mind that this is all climate change. No, this is vandalism on a scale beyond belief. Seriously. For an ideology. And I'll speak to you soon.